Hi there, it's Martin from CapeWonderEurope.com. Welcome to the Museum of Childhood. Next time you're in London or thereabouts, you could do worse if you're a Superman fan and come in and see some of the fabulous exhibits they've got. It's a free exhibition. You can come in at any time, and what awaits you here is an actual costume from Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, which is mounted right behind me. We're going to go into detail in that in just a second, but I just wanted to say what a great place this is to visit. Even if you're not interested in Superman, something that you own from your childhood will be right here in one of these display cabinets. It is an astonishing place to be, and it's a wonderful throwback to great times. Having this right in the center is really something else, because even though it's behind glass, which, you know, understandably it has to be, you can see the detail. This is a very well preserved outfit and well worth your time to come and visit. So let's have a closer look and see what makes it tick. So what we notice first of all with this great display is the fact that it is in outstanding condition, considering this is from 1986, a few decades old by now. And yes, I know about the cape straps, I know they should be tucked inside, but at least this gives you an actual idea about what it was and how the cape functions, in case you didn't know, in case you've never owned a replica or worn one. The straps are intended to go inside the collar of the costume and under the armpits, as you can see here, and then they tie in the back. And what that does is it kind of forces the neckline right up to the back of the neck. And usually there is a closure by the way of a couple of press studs right on those shoulders, and you'll notice that this suit doesn't have them, which is interesting. Could mean it's a flying costume. Just because it's mounted on a flying mannequin doesn't mean it was a flying costume. But the key to that, the tell, would be in this region here. The waistline just below the belt, maybe 2 or 3 inches below the belt, would be where the hooks for the harness would be. And then I would expect some corresponding slits in the cape around there, and it's folded to a point where I can't tell whether or not it's a flying cape. So this could be a walking costume. This area here on the collar, right next to where the collar of the cape ends and where the strap begins, that point there is the most vulnerable in the costume, because it tugs. Once the strap goes underneath, it does tug quite hard on that neckline, and most Superman 4 costumes, I can't see any striations on there though. God, this is well preserved. Yeah, I can't see any kind of sign of strain on the cape, which may be why the V&A have elected to not do it this time and just mount the cape on the outside. That would make a lot of sense. Colors are beautiful. And again, make no mistake, folks, even though it photographs in what looks like, I don't know, like a silvery blue, it doesn't look like that in reality. It just doesn't. Again, we've had this discussion time and time again about what color this thing is. And as you look at it with the naked eye, as I look away from camera, definitely more metallic, a more metallic sheen, most prescient on probably this shoulder, if you can see that. But when you get close, it kind of looks like a grey, doesn't it? But again, it's not. It's not. It's a much stronger blue than photographically it would have you believe. The S-shield stitching, as we would expect to see on the borders, and clean around the symbol itself. Resin cast for the belt buckle, mounted on top of the vinyl yellow of the belt, which is showing appropriate creasing and age. Very, very nice pair of boots. The supports in the notch in the V, as we can see there, as we would come to expect. Let's go over the top here. We can see the zip covers. And interestingly, as we go around the back, we can see, yes, I can see red electrical tape around the seam. I'm not sure about over the bottom. The bottoms might be untouched, but there's definitely red tape to patch up certain parts. So they're obviously screen used as well. And as we can see, they've gone the V&A have gone to great lengths to kind of mount this cape on a frame to give it the ripples. Now this has been displayed previously. This was part of the Hollywood collection in the V&A gallery proper down the road, where it was mounted in a very similar fashion on the ceiling, but it had like some kind of weird monitor setup, and there's a picture of Chris's head just to give the impression about it, you know, being worn. You weren't allowed to photograph it during that exhibition, which was frustrating enough for me not to attend. However, I'm glad to say that this is a very quiet afternoon, and I've got complete access to it, which is wonderful. There is a plaque. I'm going to zoom straight in on that, which credits this as designed by John Bloomfield and Yvonne Blake. Well, we know that those to be facts. John Bloomfield didn't design it, obviously. This is all Yvonne's work. But by 1986, we were using a different fabric than the Solheim productions, this being a Canon film. Bloomfield, presumably, and I discussed this at length in my my article on the site, Take the Gentleman's Cape, where we discussed the fact that by 1986, the machine in Austria that made the fabric was decommissioned, and so, you know, Lycra's are universal by, you know, 86. Contrary to popular belief, this suit was dyed exactly the same color as the Solheim movies. It's just that it was a different Lycra, a different spandex, and that's why it appears different on screen and color-wise as well. It is a waffle weave. I mean, it's hard to see from here, but it is a more compact waffle weave than the Solheim ones were, and probably, I would suggest, more comfortable to wear. It looks like a softer fabric, and you know, if you go back in the history of my channel and you watch some of the other videos where I get up close and personal to the costumes and have a, you know, good route around the fabric, then you'll know for a fact that you know, they were a softer, more comfortable spandex than the traditional, shall we say, Superman 1, 2, and 3 costumes. You know, it's so lovely to have this in a place where kids from all over the world will come to visit, and they'll see this, and, you know, their mouths will be agape, and it'll be, you know, just a complete sense of wonder, because, you know, this isn't some kind of, you know, bone idol replica that they've stuck up. This is an actual screen-used costume worn by the man himself, and what could be more magical than that? So if you're in the area, if you're in London, it's so wonderful to have a Superman costume, a genuine Superman movie costume, right in the heart of London where these pictures were made. So hope you've enjoyed.